Hi. Okay.
Hey everyone, my name is Ted Odell and I'm joined by my good friend Haydn Elmore.
Hi there.
Welcome to Ted Into the Cineverse.
Yes.
Oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
I said yes.
This is unscripted, and I figured since yesterday was the raid, I almost said 9/11, Area 51.
Yes.
I figured review it chapters 1 and 2.
But they're not aliens, though. They're just...
I mean, Pennywise is an alien, though.
Yeah, debatable.
No, it's not debatable. He is actually an alien.
Cool. Okay.
Okay, so this is the very first episode of At the Cinemas. We both saw this last Saturday.
No, well, 2 Saturdays ago. We saw this, because this...
Oh, that's right.
We saw this
We saw both It Chapters 1 and 2 together at the drive-in here in Gloversville, it's in Broad Alban.
Yeah, right around the area.
And it was a double feature. So we decided to go see it because It Chapters 1 and 2 are actually really good films. It Chapter 2 is like a little below.
Well, we'll go into more Chapter 2 in later on. But let's discuss Chapter 1 for a
All
little
right. It Chapter 1 starts out with a what the frick?
And we're going to go spoilers, obviously, so if you haven't seen either one...
Pause this video, go see them. This video will still be up.
Yes. But quick non-spoiler talks about It Chapter 1. I really liked it, this one.
Yeah, so did I. Bill Skarsgård did a really good job.
Excellent as Pennywise.
Yeah, he was terrifying.
Oh, definitely, for sure.
I mean, Tim Curry is terrifying, but he's also...
More in a way that's more comedic.
Yeah. Like...
Skarsgård's more, like, terrifying in the sense that it's like, this is...
He'll freaking murder you!
Yeah, murder you, especially even in your sleep. He'll be conjuring your nightmares. Not much like Freddy Krueger, but you know.
Yeah. Okay, so the very first death is obviously George Denborough, the little brother of Bill Denborough. We all knew that this death was bound to happen, unless we're talking about that one deleted scene.
Oh yes, unless it's like, hey, give the in case you don't know, you'll probably find it up on YouTube. Just
just look up It Chapter 1 not spoiler, deleted scene,
and you'll probably find it.
Yeah. Actually, there's another deleted scene from It Chapter 1 that made it into It Chapter 2, the flashback with Stan and Richie.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Anyway, we all knew that Georgie had to die.
Exactly, it was like
But still, holy crap!
The way the death just kind of plugs into it, like Pennywise said, take this boat, little Georgie. Georgie's about to take the boat, and this guy literally just grabs like a vampire, like,
and bites his whole arm off.
That's like terrifying.
It was like what the hell?
It was just like
what? It's like we can only like do this for 29 minutes.
Oh, okay.
But I could always we could do multiple takes.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway.
Yeah, sorry, off track. But yeah, that scene really sets up the mood and sets up the tone and atmosphere of the picture. I mean, most of the film is essentially just about these kids going through mostly their lives, but almost plaguing down to their fear. That's something that Pennywise is known for.
Yeah.
Plaguing on people's fears. And we see that constantly throughout the film. We see each of these characters'
I'll be right back, everyone. Hayden, you take over the reins.
Yes, I will take care back here. I'm standing up so you can see me more clearly. So what I like about It Chapter 1 is the dynamic between these kids. The dynamic that these are young kids, impressionable, they're very young and naive, but they're also very, scared, and they're very, wholesome. And I love the dynamic of that sense of your connection through all the bright and happy and terrifying moments, which is elevated so much from the performances from all the actors and the way the script is presented to them in a way that just feels authentic and makes sense to them thematically. And it's interesting to see how it plays every one of their interferes. Yes, I said interferes, I think, a couple times. Okay. It plays it into their fears very well, and a lot of it is done through a lot of very practical and very more intense moments, especially with the projector scene in particular, where that's alone is just a masterclass in both like suspense and thriller and intensity of character. That gives you so much more of elevation of everything that makes it pretty scary, even if at times that I'll admit one of my issues going with It Chapter 1 is that sometimes the jump scares can be a little bit overblown. a bit too much. I mean, there were definitely much effective scares for sure, like the projector scene. That's what I mentioned.
God.
before.
Yes, the projector scene is terrifying.
Exactly, it is terrifying. But also the haunted house scene that they later on go into.
Yeah, the knee bolt.
That was a pretty intense scene and good atmosphere view. All right, I'm getting.
Yeah, let's sit back down.
Well, I mean, I don't want to sit back down. I'm way too sure.
Oh, so you want to tower over me? How's this?
Whatever.
Anyway, have fun sitting.
Okay.
The only problem I have with It Chapter 1, and the same goes for It Chapter 2, is the amount of CGI.
Yeah, I kind of noticed that too. But I mean, it's definitely more of a problem with it too than it is.
Yeah, like with It Chapter 1, it's in the library scene with Ben.
Yes.
The projector scene, because
yeah, the way the moves everything cuts around and it's like cuts to there every time, like it gets more darker and more closer every time it gets cut through, but just great stuff.
Yes,
you
the
know
snapping too.
You know what I mean.
Yeah, I know what you meant. But It Chapter 1 is a really good film.
I will mention another flaw. It has sometimes the scares just kind of felt a little bit uneven because we mentioned before of how Georgie, we literally see him get his arm ripped off like very intensively. We saw it first, but then later on in the movie, we kind of see one of the bullies getting killed by Pennywise, and it was just like, it's
just a jump scare.
Instant cut scene, which is, I mean, granted, sometimes it's not that big of a problem if it's like something like a PG-13 horror film, but it's not.
It's a rated R.
It's rated R for a reason.
Yeah.
And it kind of felt a little bit, unsure of it at times.
Yeah.
Especially with all the scares and everything. But again, a lot of the great aspects of it, from the writing and from the dynamic of the characters and the seeing them going all the internal fears and such, is what makes it really strong. And I think it's what makes it, I can see this being more of a Halloween classic for years to come, even though the miniseries and maybe other different adaptations. But it's still a really solid film.
Yeah. One of my favorite aspects of both this It Chapter 1 and It Chapter 2 is the dynamic between the Losers Club. Or the Lucky Seven in this case. Mainly, more so with It Chapter 1 because they're kids.
Yes. I was going to say, because It Chapter 2
has them be total assholes sometimes.
Yeah, but we'll get into more detail about that. So we won't say too much about It Chapter 1. Most of you who are watching this have probably already seen it at this point.
It's a 2-year-old film. Huh?
Yeah, obviously. So on a scale from 1 to 10, I'm going to be giving It Chapter 1 a very solid 8 out of 10.
I was actually going to say the same thing. It's a very good film. Very reliant on CGI, which made sense with what's going on.
But there's still some practical stuff of it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I'm pretty sure the scene where Pennywise, gets out of the fridge
in the haunted house, so...
I think that's actually practical.
Yes.
It's a good film. No doubt about it.
It has its problems for sure, but...
Every film has its problems.
Well, most films, at least.
Oh, all films have, a tiny problem.
Yeah, but,
Yeah.
Except for Catwoman. But anyways, the movie, again, 8 out of 10. Definitely give it it's a fun watch, and you'll have a good time.
Yeah.
Now, It Chapter 2, on the other hand...
there are a lot of problems, but it's still a good film.
Yeah, I kind of say it kind of is. It's kind of good, kind of bad. It's definitely one of those films that just kind of sinks in, not in a good sense.
Yeah, okay. Now, for those of you who have not seen It Chapter 2,
We're gonna go, this is more of a spoiler-esque territory.
Yeah, we're gonna be mentioning some spoilers, so if you have not seen it, pause this video right now, go see it. It's still in theaters, it's only been...
Unless you're a little lazy and go probably watch it somewhere online, or I don't know, just go watch
pirate it. I don't know.
You don't care, but just... Go watch it if you're really cautious for spoilers, but then again, it's in the book and the miniseries too, so...
Yeah, and when we're done, I actually want to mention one thing that is different between both of the movies and the book, but that'll be for later.
Yeah, a little later.
The movie actually starts out really creepily. And the way the first kill is also a what the hell kind of moment.
But not in the sense of the problem... Okay, you continue.
Okay, so for those of you who have read the book, you know that the book, it's the whole thing restarts with the the death of a gay man, named Adrian, I think that was his name.
I don't remember what his name was.
But anyway, from a homophobic gang.
Yes.
And it's the same with this. And like you feel bad for this guy.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, it's still like the sense of like, yeah, this is homophobic, but like my problem with this is that, unlike say Chapter 1's opening, where Georgie's death was essential to both Bill's like overall character arc in that film, and then by the end of the film, he has to let go of that fear, and it's like, you know, I may be dead, but like,
yeah, he actually puts a bolt right in Georgie's head.
And it was almost...
Or Georgie.
And even then, that scene was still emotionally, like, devastating,
yeah,
too.
you actually thought that it was really Georgie.
Yeah, you really thought it was, but it was like, nah, you shot him dead. But, like, the thing is, with Chapter 2, like, this whole opening with, like, oh, the attack on the gay couple, it never comes back to the film. It doesn't serve much else to the overall story. Other than the fact that, oh, Pennywise is back, and... like, he'd go kill people, but like, that's it. He doesn't serve purpose thematically, and it was just like, the movie could have been fine with if you just cut that whole opening out, or change it differently.
But here's the thing, I think that's also like, I don't want to say meta-commentary, but it kind of can be with our world today, because there are a lot of, like...
Oh, yeah, I'm not saying there's still a lot of hate and discrimination against gay people in the LGBT
so I
community,
think,
for sure. I'm not saying...
Like, I agree that the fact that opening, like, contributes nothing to the overall story, except for the fact that Pennywise is back. Oh no, we have to get the Losers Club back. But it's a good meta commentary on today's generation. Not really generation, but like what's been going on over the past couple of years.
Yeah, I mean, whether or not it's executed well, I don't really think it's that executed well, per se. I think there could have been different ways you could have handled that message much better, but I don't know, it's just nitpicking, we're only in the beginning, so...
Yeah, so, and Mike, a grown-up Mike, finds out and, like, sees a missing poster. I think, wasn't it Georgie? Or wasn't it...
No, I don't remember what it was.
It was probably just a random
basically, he was trying to recruit the whole Losers Club. Hey, we're getting the game back together, y'all.
And, well, he tricked them.
Well, yeah, sort of.
That sort of he did!
Well, yeah, you know what I mean.
Yeah, the first person he calls is our good friend Stephen King. I mean, Bill Denborough.
AKA played by James McAvoy. I was gonna say, wait a minute. Like,
well, the funny thing is, Stephen King has said that Bill Denborough is basically him.
Yes.
So... that
makes sense.
James McAvoy is there are 3 actors who do well, 4 if you count Ben, but if I am... So there are 4 actors who do a really good job. James McAvoy as Bill.
I mean, I don't know. I think he did okay, but it wasn't like... I felt like, you know, he does the best with the material for sure. I really love James McAvoy, don't get me wrong. I love him in almost a lot of things he's in.
Oh yeah, he's a really good actor. There's Jessica Chastain as Beverly, who really did a good job.
Yeah, she did pretty well with
and then there's the best part, Bill Hader
as Richie. Perfect casting for sure. Yes. I love the god Bill Hader. And then James Rosen, who played the older Eddie, was actually spot on casting too. So, yeah. Like, the performances are pretty solid for the most part.
And Jay Ryan, I think it was his name, played a grown-up Ben, which I don't remember.
I'm looking through my letterbox right now.
Works for me. Each of them do a really good job as the adult Losers Club. Yeah. Even the grown-ups stand with very little scenes he's in. But we'll debate to how much important Stan actually is in this to a degree.
Yes.
Because
Stan was the one who ultimately killed himself because he figured that.
But we'll get to that later and how important that is.
Okay.
So they all show up at a Chinese restaurant, which actually...
arguably, I would say it's probably the best scene of the entire movie.
Yeah, it is freaky. Like...
I wouldn't say it's free, but it also shows that, like, that sense of, like, dynamic that the Losers Club that you had from the first film was, like, sprinkled a little bit into that one scene. And it's just, like, so pure. And then there's also, like, that sense of perfect of just comedy and just the sense of just scaredness that as it plays on. Yeah. That scene is just great stuff. Kind of wish the rest of the movie had more of those types of scenes, but we'll get to those a little bit more of my major complaints later. But
yes. So this whole scene is really freaky, especially with the fortune cookie scene. If you've seen the miniseries, you know how weird that whole scene is.
Oh yes.
It's not the scene in the miniseries. It's not freaky or scary. It's more like
comical.
Or what the hell? But in chapter 2, it's like, okay.
It's like kind of a little bit more terrifying, obviously, because obviously it's an updated version. So
yeah,
it's like,
and actually, this movie is also 3 hours long. So if you go see it, get ready to be in your seat.
But I also have a lot of problems with its 3-hour runtime, and I mean, I don't know. I guess I should discuss my flaws now. We're just gonna go balls to the wall there. My biggest problem with it, chapter 2, was that its lack of sense of like identity, basically, because pretty much almost the entirety of like the second act, pretty much the whole middle section, is just almost playing the same types of scenes over and over again, and it just felt redundant. It was like, let me show you an example. Like a scene would start setting up, and you can see the individual characters just going out, finding their old place at the home.
Token.
Yeah, they found their little, Willy Wonka token or something.
Well, with Richie, it's a literal token.
Yes, Richie is sent a little token. But then you also have like some weird flashback moment where it's like, oh, they were like this at this certain age, and then there's some weird creature that's supposed to represent the Pennywise, and then more jump scares, CGI nonsense, blah blah blah.
Okay, speaking of CGI, remember how I said that in chapter 1 I had a big problem with the amount of CGI?
Oh yeah, this is chapter way worse than this one.
But it also works. Like, it makes things a little more terrifying to a degree.
Yeah, kind of. But I feel like in many ways it just felt distracting.
Yeah.
In the areas.
Yeah.
It just kind of felt like everything was just kind of there.
Yeah, probably the creepiest scene was actually the Paul Bunyan statue.
Oh yes, that was with with whole Richie's little situation, because everyone was thinking that Richie was Pennywise was thinking he was a homophobe and like a homosexual.
Yeah,
so,
that's actually Eddie.
Yeah, the Eddie. Well, no, I thought it was Richie.
It might be, but it was hinted at in the miniseries that Eddie was too.
Oh yeah.
But while you're not a big fan of the fact that it focuses on each member of the losers.
Well, I mean, not that I don't have a problem with that. It's just the problem with the scene. And I like sort of like the duration. Again, I mentioned a lot of that in chapter 1 was like the fact I love the whole character, like seeing these characters individually as well as working them together as a team, sort of thing. You see that constant through, but like almost a lot of in this one, we've lost that sense of dynamic, and we lost the sense of just like it's the same movie, but just now like adults. And
yeah. And let's actually talk about what each of their tokens are. With Bill, it's actually the SS Georgie.
Oh yes.
Symbolizing that he hasn't quite moved on from his Georgie's death.
Mm-hmm.
With Bev, it's actually the poem that Ben wrote.
Yes.
Speaking of Ben, it's a yearbook, part of the yearbook.
Oh, because Bev was the only one in the original was like sign a Ben's yearbook.
With Eddie, it was like his what's it called? It was for his asthma.
Yeah, but that's
his placebo, his inhaler.
Yes, inhaler, and it's like Hat's disease. And then, but I want to talk about that one when we do see Nick him in the adult form. The whole scare, it was just randomly just played. Just call me Angel, the Morning Angel. You know that song that played in the beginning of Deadpool, the first Deadpool.
Yeah.
They randomly just played it for like a few seconds for no reason.
Yeah.
I thought that was like when I would watch it, I was like, wait, what? I thought that was just like some random some audio you screech about, but no, it was actually in the movie. I looked it back up, like, wow, this was actually in the movie, and I'm like.
And he even brought something in memory of Stan, like a shower cap for the treehouse.
Mm-hmm.
Which that whole part was like really weird. Like it was hard to figure out when that whole part took place.
Yeah, I think
like
it's almost like a sense of like a lot of the flashback moments. Sometimes it just felt a little bit like it wasn't uneven. Sometimes I won't say uneven, but like it was sort of like hard to tell when exactly do they.
Like with the individual moments, I'm pretty sure that took place after their first fight against Pennywise. Like when they split up.
Yeah, after they split up and something like that.
Like that would make the most sense.
Well, we all know Ben's flashback was like sort of like he was still in the summer school sort of thing.
Well, that was just like the school. But yeah, I get what you're saying. But like the whole flashback it's kind of hard to tell when it takes place, especially when we're introduced to the clubhouse. Like, we're not entirely sure. Like, I think, like, in one scene with Stan during the clubhouse, we see his face, his head wrapped up.
Yeah.
Implying that it takes place during
after the final battle?
I'm like...
But it doesn't really establishes when that takes place. Maybe this was established in the book. Maybe we're too stupid. Leave us in the comments. I don't know.
Yeah, like, at least give us some context clues.
Yeah, there's more context that makes sense.
Like, I guess the scene definitely doesn't take place after the first battle because they went their separate ways, and Bill and Richie would not be in the same room.
Yeah. And also, there is one scene I would consider to be connected back, because after, like, when the whole flashback of them splitting up and such, we do kind of see that moment where Bev and Bill kind of just like meeting up a little bit with their bikes and such. And I guess that does take place after their split up for sure. Also, I want to mention while we're on the topic of the flashbacks, you ever notice sometimes the CGI, the de-aging of the stuff, since a lot of the kid actors really grew up a lot since the first...
Over the first 2 years.
Yeah, especially Finn Wolfhard, who grow like... It's like almost around your height, probably.
Oh, jeez, I don't want to imagine that. Someone who's younger than me is around the same height. I don't want to imagine that.
Well, he's getting close to it, anyways. But you could tell it really bothers them. I mean, they do a lot of siege. There's a lot of films, mainly a lot of big blockbusters.
Especially in Rogue One with Princess Leia.
They do a lot of de-aging stuff to make it as offensive as close to as possible. And a lot of times it can work, other times it can be distracting. It too falls into the distracting category.
Yeah.
Where it's like you're really noticing of how like the voice is lower and the CGI is just like...
It's weird.
Yeah.
But
it kind of is.
And like, back to the tokens, like Richie brings in an actual token from the Street Fighter 2. I think it was the very first Street Fighter, because the way that it was a token from the actual Street Fighter 1 cabinet that he played in Chapter 1. Mm-hmm. Oh, speaking of Street Fighter 1, Henry Bowers is creepy.
Oh, yeah.
He stabs Eddie in the face.
Yes, that's because he was in a mental institute, and that's why they go insane.
True, but like Henry is 10 times creepier in
psychotic
in the remake than in the miniseries.
Right. And I think also another problem that I have with this film was just the fact that it doesn't really do much services with the 3-hour runtime.
It's like the entire middle part, for the most part, is filler.
Pretty much. It's just almost like I mentioned, it's the same type of scare scenarios, just with different characters placed in, and it really kind of hurts the pacing of it very much.
Yeah.
I understand what they were trying to kind of go through, seeing how the characters interfere with like Pennywise after 27 years, but like, still, it just felt like it was just very uneven, and was just so pleasantly established, and doesn't really flow well, unlike something say like Endgame or Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, which are also 3 hours long, but they do have a lot of things going in between those times that make you engage and in surface throughout the film, despite of its longer runtime. You don't even bother, it's like 3 hours long. Where it too, it's not like it has that sense of energy or a sense of like wonderment. It's just kind of there. And then the finale too.
The finale is actually like really well done.
The finale is pretty fun for sure, but I mean,
we'll get to that in a minute.
Right.
And actually, each of the tokens actually like is a major part of their past, which basically is telling them to let go. Mm-hmm. Like in the final token is from Mike, which is the rock with that still has blood on it from the Rock War from Chapter 1.
Yes.
The day that they came together.
Mm-hmm.
Like, and they had to get these tokens to perform a ritual that didn't even work.
Yeah.
The ritual of Chud.
Yes. And then of course Pennywise comes in like, oh, I'm gonna eggle your fear, and then everyone has to let go of their fears again, and then but they recite Ben and Beverly's poem together. It's like, well, we knew Ben and Beverly did end up being together, obviously.
Honestly, in the trailers, I actually thought that, are they really gonna make Bill and Bev get together? I'm like,
no.
Ben and Bev forever.
Yeah, I'm not really much of a shipper guy anyway, but anyways, but which is fine for like a young teen romance, but like, for them trying to save it together, that just felt very weird.
Yeah.
You know? And also, like, with the whole, like, the way they kill off Pennywise is by bullying him and calling him, you're a fucking clown, and you're a pathetic piece of shit, and blah, blah, blah. You're like...
They're basically making him feel like he's worthless. And let's not forget about all the deaths. Holy crap, the deaths were, like, freaky. The
deaths are freaky, but, like, with Pennywise, this whole thing, I was like, wait, was that his entire fear? Is, like, he's fear that has egotism? Was, like, he afraid to be, like, he's more chalked down to everyone? I don't know. It's so stupid.
Like, some of the deaths, one of them is... 2 of them are actually kids.
Oh, yes.
They did something, they doubled the amount of kid deaths from it, chapter 1, which is just 1.
Yeah. Like, literally, they doubled out. Just 1.
But the 2 children deaths are like, no, don't do it!
Yeah, but I will admit the whole, like, circus scene where the kids are entrapped and Pennywise is knocking his head off, that's some good stuff.
Yeah.
I'll admit that.
And finally, the last death, which is actually... no doubt the saddest.
Kind of is with Eddie's sacrifice.
Basically, he stands up for himself and throws a spear into Pennywise to save best boy Richie.
Yeah, that was... I didn't cry at that moment, but I was like, man, that was so devastating. And then the movie ended just pretty solidly, you know, with all the...
That move, I'm still in touch. Which actually, that actually reminds me. Okay, let's talk about Stan, the reason why Stan killed himself.
Yes.
He felt like he was the weakest link. Mm-hmm. And if he returned to Derry,
he would have felt worse.
Well, not just that. Pennywise would kill all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Which he basically made the heroic sacrifice. Which I like very much.
Yeah, that was a pretty... I never really thought of that, actually.
Yeah, he took himself out of the equation.
Mm-hmm.
Basically giving the other losers, or the lucky 6 at this point, well, lucky 5 now, a chance to beat Pennywise.
Mm-hmm.
And now, my favorite, what I like a lot about it, chapter 2 compared to like the miniseries or the book, is they still remember what happened. In the miniseries and in the book, they forget.
It's like, oh wait,
it's basically,
what happened?
It's in reverse. After they beat Pennywise as kids, they still remember what happened.
Mm-hmm.
But in the remake, in It Chapter 2, they forget. But once they beat Pennywise for good, they still remember.
Yeah. The cherished, heartfelt, nice, easing moments of them working together.
So, what would you rank It Chapter 2 on a scale of 1 to 10? Because I would give it a 7.5.
Me, I'm going a little bit lower. This was a film that really left a bit of a sour taste in my mouth, and I was like actually excited for this film quite a lot. I'm not saying the film itself was a complete mess. I mean, granted, it kind of was, but it wasn't like a terrible film. It's not like the worst film that I've seen this entire year. And I guess if it wasn't following up a great first chapter, maybe I wouldn't have been this harsh.
Yeah.
Because I was excited with this cast and the crew behind it.
Stephen King cameo too.
Yes,
I forgot about that.
Yes, he did make a cameo.
And he even the fact that Bill Denborough can't really finish his story good is actually the same thing Stephen King goes through.
Yeah, so
all writers go through that.
Yeah, so on the whole, for me, I felt disappointed by It Chapter 2. It was still a solid film, I guess, but it could have been so much better. So I'm just going to give it a 6 out of 10. Just to be generous.
Okay. That's fair. Okay, so I would actually say overall it's a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, I guess from the both of us.
Okay. So thank you all so much for watching, and we're almost...
Yes.
Haydn, thank you for coming out for the very
first
video. Yes, check
out my YouTube channel, Pay Films. The links will be in the description.
Yeah, he has a podcast, the Big Little Podcast. If you're not subscribed to Giant Studios, I made a video talking about his channel and advertising this one.
Yes.
So, thank you so much for coming on.
Yes, thank you, and have a good night, guys.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Peace out.